None of us know or even want to know a life without her. It seems that not many people have a grandma like her. In my case, she was also my girlfriend. We spent a lot of time together. Whenever I casually mentioned to people that I was going to happy hour with my grandma or going shopping with her on a Saturday, I was often met with chuckles or a comment about how nice it was that I was making time for her, like I was doing a charitable granddaughter deed. But it wasn't like that at all. We genuinely had fun together and shared many of the same interests, and of course the same big family to keep up with. And while you would never think that a 26-year-old and a 93-year-old would make good roommates, we were honestly a perfect match. We both entered into that arrangement nervously, but by the end we were sad to part ways. We still did our best to see each other as much as possible. Everywhere we went, people would stop us to admire Riri and exclaim over her ensemble. They would always ask the same thing. What's your secret? How can I be like you when I'm your age? Her impeccable taste and distinct style were no secret, nor were her many hobbies over the years. We've all heard her line, if you see me in flats, it isn't me. But as her former roommate, I got a glimpse of the magic behind the curtain. I was there for the mundane and little details that made her who she was. So today I thought I would share some of her secrets. She didn't really like vegetables, but she did like wine. We'd each have a glass most nights while watching Jeopardy and Wheel, except during Lent, and then she'd have a glass of scotch. She loved music because the way it made her feel. Frank was her favorite, and the dance floor is where you would find her at any party. She enjoyed passing the time with a card game like Dimes or Texas Hold'em. As long as there wasn't too much chit-chat, you had to be ready for your turn. Kirsten. She was always making lists and quizzing herself, like listing all of the US presidents backwards from memory. She was a great friend, and she would be friends with anyone. She didn't have a type. She seemed to find everyone's story interesting and valuable. I remember the girls who cleaned her house often overstayed their scheduled time because Riri was always chatting with them, needing the latest updates on their dating lives. She cared about tradition and started a few that we will carry on for years to come. Courtney and I have countless memories from the weekends we would spend with her every summer, starting when we were probably 8 or 9 and lasting through college. Those were replaced by the epic granddaughter sleepover every December. It started 5 years ago and we cherished it so much that 4 of the 7 of us even booked flights just so we could drink wine together in our Christmas pajamas and set goals to be discussed the following year. She had an easy sense of humor, and I will never forget her little shriek of laughter that let loose after a crack from one of her grandsons. She was forgiving. As far as I could tell, she never held a grudge, and for all that she lived through, she truly never placed blame on anyone else. She believed in true love, and that you should be with the person you can't live without. A belief that came to her after falling in love at age 85. She was spiritual. She always had a prayer book or rosary close at hand and truly believed in the power of prayer. She was humble. We used to ask her to share words of wisdom and she would chuckle like that was so ridiculous. But once I do remember her actually answering. She said, I just realized this year it's not all about me. To which we all laughed because I now know that we didn't understand her meaning. It finally hit me years later. Not everything that happens to us is for us, but rather we are God's instrument to better someone else's life. And if that's true, then he used her a lot because she bettered the lives of everyone here and countless others, I'm sure. She was a bookworm, often finishing at least a book a week and then assigning her favorites to the grandkids. And she didn't read fluff, so it was hard to keep up. Her favorite books were biographies of great people, like Dear and Glorious Physician about St. Luke, and inspirational tomes like The Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill. She left Katie a tattered copy of The Laws of Success with many pages earmarked and notes scrawled in all of the margins in her unmistakable script. One passage she had underlined and starred was recommending to write down a chief definitive aim to strive for and reference it until it became reality, under which she wrote, to be Christ-like, to be the Rita God created, with several exclamation marks. She loved novels that spanned generations, like East of Eden by John Steinbeck. We discussed that book often and would quiz each other. What's the last word in the book? What does it mean? And what does it really mean? I'll spare you guys that explanation now, but I would like to share a quote from her favorite character, Lee. But I have a new love for that glittering instrument, the human soul. It is a lovely and unique thing in the universe. All of these traits and countless others added up to make the glittering, lovely, and unique girl we're all here to celebrate. And lastly, more than anything, I think the secret to her long and happy life was family. She always said her favorite time in life was when she had 6 children under the age of 12. And that was the beginning of her remarkable legacy. The defining factor in a life bigger than most people dream of. She had 6 children, 17 grandchildren, affectionately known as the Pookie Bears, and 24 great-grandchildren with number 25 on her way. Including all of our spouses, who she loved like her own, the grand total of her descendants is 65 and counting. And when she couldn't sleep at night, instead of counting sheep or listing the presidents, she counted all of us. For every memory and lesson she gave us, her greatest gift to us is each other. They say that death is heaven's way of saying, your table is ready. So it makes me happy imagining her walking into her welcome party, probably to a standing ovation, and reuniting with those that got there early. Like her mom, Ethel, her siblings, Mary and Bob, and her 2 great loves, Ziggy and Tom. And no doubt Tony Bennett will want to take her for a spin around the heavenly dance floor. So until the day we're called to join our girl at the table, we'll always remember her as loving us.